Hey guys, this is Alex. Today we're going to be doing a VOD review of 2 games on Widowmaker. So right off the bat, if you notice where I'm scoping right where the Widow's head would be if she were to hook up off that red building. But then it's called that they have a Bastion composition, so I stop aiming up there and I start aiming down towards mid. I start off by pressuring the Rhine shield, and I have the idea to go for the left flank to try to pick off one or two of their supports. And luckily for me, they're both exposed and I get the kill into both of them, which causes the Bastion to back off a point. Around this time, this is usually when the Bastion will switch because it's very hard to retake point once you're already off of it, especially at such an early stage of the map. So right here, I notice that they switched to a Widowmaker, so I go back to pre-aiming that spot I was pre-aiming at the very start of the match. She doesn't peek right there, so alternate between a couple different angles, the window, the high ground spot. She's not peeking me at all. I stay up here a bit too long, and I later get punished for that. This is the first sight of the Widowmaker. I see her shot right there. I predict her grapple top left by putting a mine to see if I could catch her out, but I end up getting flanked by a crouch walking hog behind. In hindsight, I could have grappled to the back of the first point and then choke above. I could have flanked on that left side, or I could have stayed with my Rhine and played behind shield. Luckily for me, my team is stalling this fight out pretty hard. I'm able to come back and start off the fight with a kill on the Widowmaker, who flanked, but she had already picked 3 by that time. I do get the Zen as he leaves trance, and then the whole hog ends up killing 2 of our teammates, both of our healers, so we have to fall back a bit and wait for a regroup. This is better than fighting the 1v3 because instead of a 1v3 immediately, if I spend about 20 seconds and wait, we can get a 6v6 at the very end of the point, which is what we actually do. So that Rhine charges in, kills our Hammond, so we return with a Shatter. Not finding anything. I grapple back up, but right about here they use infrasights. So I drop back down to that bottom left area and try to duel the Widowmaker. She peeks me, and there's something I want to note right here. Right here, what I'm doing is called shoulder peeking. So the reason this is important to learn is because as Widowmaker, the weakest part of your gameplay is going to be when the enemy uses infrasight, and you don't have it available. So as you can see, I'm at 24%. I'm not getting this ult anytime soon. So what I can do to mitigate the effects of their infrasight is go up to a corner where their Widow thinks I'm going to peek, such as right here. And what you'll see is I AD every once in a while to keep her occupied and aiming at me. So hopefully after about 8 seconds of that, she'll get tired of you and look away, in which case you try to grapple over, get her while she's not looking. Unfortunately, she pushes me instead of looking away, and she wins the aim duel. So, still checking those same 3 angles of the right alleyway. The Widow ends up missing the shot on Liana and gives away her position, and she was already low health, so that kill, problem. Right here, I go for a spawn kill on the Widowmaker. I don't get it, and because I don't get it, I end up placing a mine top left where I just left. Because that Widow immediately will think of using that spot now that I left it. It kind of refreshes it in her mind, and it sets us up to let us know when she pushes that, if she ever does. But then I see her mid like that just now, so I keep her on my right side behind the wall and instead peek the rest of her team, which is right in front of me, kind of avoiding the Widow 1v1 altogether. I pop infrasight here, trying to get a cheeky kill, but she hears it, and I decide instead of the duel, I'll just try to pick the rest of her teammates, because it is overtime, so every kill matters. They end up rushing point where her Reinhardt shines, gets in 3 kills. If you can see the crosshair placement of my shot into that Winston right before he placed the bubble, it was on his head, and I think he knew that, so he had to force his bubble a little bit early. So in this game, I actually end up starting bottom right as opposed to that middle door, and there's a couple different reasons. If the enemy has a Junkrat or a Widow, they'll already be shooting that main door looking for an early kill, so by going right door, that kind of mitigates all that damage off of me. Another reason is I have 2 options right off the gate. I can either hook up on that red building and go for that shot that I was pre-aiming on defense, or I could flank all the way to the right, which is actually what I end up doing. So instead of hook shotting to peek for the first time, I peek for the first time right here underneath that gate. It's a lot safer because you have cover on both sides of you. I pressure the Pharah off of high ground, or high ground I guess as in the sky, just so she has to fly a little bit lower so the rest of our DPS can reach her a bit easier. Right here, you might be confused as to why I stay up here for so long. Pretty much I'm just waiting for my grapple cooldown, especially with the most recent nerf, which extended it from 8 to 10 seconds. Right before this, I don't know if you noticed, I pressed tab and I saw that they had a Sombra. So Sombra, in most cases, could be scouting right down here, looking at this perch that I'm on. So instead of dropping down immediately after I hook up, I wait up here for another hook so that I can hook up to this high ground without being caught. Unfortunately, the Pharah catches up on my plan and she does push me. And after a narrow 1v1, I do end up winning it, which allows me to have that flank for free. So right here, our team calls that Sombra is on point, and knowing this, that means I can go all the way over the wall without waiting. I find the Zen immediately, and after a long aim duel with the Ana, I do end up picking her. So this is both supports down on the attacking push. It's looking pretty good for us. The Pharah does come back and end up killing me, but for the 2-for-1 trade, it puts our team in a very advantageous situation where all the poke damage that they do cannot be mitigated by heals, and they can't sustain for much longer without Ana Zen. So we end up pushing the payload, and that's the end of the first bot.